Today I'm going to talk about blood pressure. First of all, I just want to say that our most precious asset is our health. There is a saying that says our health is our wealth. And today we are approaching health in a completely different way. Now what we're doing is we're moving away from oil and chemicals and drugs and the sickness industry in order that we will indeed have a future, a sustainable future. Because the old way is not working anymore. Well, it never worked, but now everybody knows it's not working. So what is happening is scientists are now come to our aid, directly to our aid, and they're supporting us in our everyday life. And this is creating a wellness global economy. Science is all about self-care, protecting our health and also our money, because our health and our money go hand in hand. Science is telling us how our body really works and making us aware. So no matter how much I learned down through the years of my 30 years searching, I still had to come along, and even though health and wellness it can be very basic and very simple, at the same time I had to upskill into science and how science viewed health in order to bring about solutions into my own home and to bring solutions to other people. Science is telling us that our body has an inbuilt ability to heal and repair itself automatically, provided we give it the right raw material on a daily basis. And these basic everyday raw materials that we need are naturally food. They put a major emphasis on minerals, particularly the fulvic minerals, which I did a video on previously. And the reason on minerals is because they're only found in specific areas around the world. And scientists now are bringing together a balanced amount of minerals, trace elements, micronutrients that we need on a daily basis to help support our body. They also talk about fats, the importance of healthy cholesterol. These are omegas. They also emphasize the importance of water. It's free. We can drink as much as we like of it, really. Now, the thing to remember about water is that when we do drink water, it's a bit like if the earth is very dry, or a plant in a pot is very dry, and we put water into it. It's not going to correct itself just in a day or two. Drinking water and taking minerals and doing all these daily things, it's a long-term thing that we do, starting today, or like myself, I started 17 years ago. Breathing is very important. We need to breathe. It's free. We need to breathe in deeply and breathe out, and that reduces stress. Exercise is very important. Exercise stimulates the body and movement within the organs, blood vessels, lymphatics, and also reduces stress. The other thing that is terribly important, because we have to learn if we want to grow. We can't stay the way we are. People have to be ready to just learn the very basic things. And not only that, but then in their awareness, they need to bring it into action. No point in knowing something unless you bring it into action. When you bring it into action, you actually transform your health, transform your life. In our busy world, it is very difficult, and I found this over the years, it is seriously difficult to get all the natural ingredients and effective ingredients that we need for our body to work on. And especially something that's science proven. And because of this, science has provided us with the one-stop shop. It's 30 years now. It's a global market. It's on the market for the past 30 years. But of course, the science is very high tech subject, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody, there's no point in putting these out on the shelf, because not everybody would understand it. But those people who are really seeking answers, they will seek, like myself, until they do find the real deal. Now today, as I say, I'm going to talk about blood pressure. I'm going to talk about the causes of blood pressure and, again, the solution. And I've already spoken about the solution, but I will go back on it again, because the solution to blood pressure is the same as the solution to absolutely every condition in our body. It never changes. But just that some people have blood pressure and other people haven't. So when they use, the good basic tools, everyday tools, on a regular basis over a period of time, they will know that their blood pressure will return to normal, because our body, that's the way our body works. Our body doesn't work against us. Our body works for us, and it's just looking for us to work with it. Our mission is to create clean, healthy homes and then create healthy people. We teach, we heal, we transform, and we repeat that by spreading the good news. So here I have the structure of an artery. It mightn't be very easy to make it out at the moment. So these are just outer walls, muscle layer, the outer cells. And here we have very important part. It is an elastic layer. And then we have the inner wall. And then in here is flowing along. If this is the artery, and this is like a tube, and the blood is flowing along in through that. The healthy blood is just flowing along beautifully. So, and again, that is just a normal pressure. That's a good, healthy, normal pressure. Now what I've done is I've just done a little picture here of taking a section of it. So we're actually looking right into the arterial wall here. And what we have is this here is normal, where somebody is really taking care of their health, and this is what it should look like. So over here we have the muscle layer, then we have the elastic layer on the inside, then we have the serum, which the blood cells are floating around in, then we have the blood cells, and around each blood cell is a little bit of cholesterol, a little bit of fat, which is terribly, terribly important. It keeps the blood cells from sticking. And then we have normal blood pressure. And in that case, the person is taking essential nutrients every day. And essential nutrients are terribly important, not only for the health of the blood cell itself that carries nutrients around to all the different parts of the body, but it is terribly important for the elastic layer of the artery, because they're essential nutrients. What they do is they help to relax the elastic layer of the artery. And as I say, they're also important for the health of the red blood cell and the rest of the body. And as I said, the fats are very important, because when we take good cholesterol every day, that's one of the functions of fat. Only one of them, terribly important. And then when we drink enough water, we actually have a good volume within the artery. Now, what happens when this is compromised in a small way compromised? So when we have dehydration, what happens is the elastic layer of the artery has the capacity to expand or contract. So it needs to contract because the artery cannot have air in the artery, can't, because if you had an air embolism, it's terribly dangerous. So what happens is it constricts, and this is in order to protect us, the elastic layer. It's a protective device. So in that case, when the dehydration occurs, the space gets much tighter, the blood cells come together, and this can create blood pressure. So what happens here is maybe the essential nutrients might be enough, but you can take a bottle of essential nutrients every day. But if you're not getting your water in, you're really wasting your time. But essential nutrients, the person is taking fats, they have reduced their water significantly, and this puts a stress on the body as well. What happens when that continues to get worse then, if the nutrients or the water are not replaced, and the person has gone to the doctor and just getting tablets, what happens is over a long period of time, the fats then become reduced, the cholesterol become reduced, which means that there now is no protective wall around the blood cell, and around the blood cell, and Then what we have is the nutrients, minerals are being reduced, because this is a person that's not aware of how to live a healthy life. And then the fats are being reduced, the water is being reduced, and stress is increased even more so. Then what happens if that continues? Of course, this is degenerative diseases. We can have a clot formation. And why we have a clot formation is because when the protective fatty layer isn't around the blood cell, blood is very sticky. So it begins to stick together and create a clot. Now, at the moment, that clot is still in the artery, it hasn't spread. But of course, the danger is that if it spreads, that's very dangerous. It could travel to the lungs or it could travel to the brain. And then if a person isn't aware of looking after themselves, they have poor nutrients in the body. And if they have poor nutrients, then there's poor nutrients being carried in the blood. And also, what also happens is if there aren't enough nutrients, the wall of the artery is compromised. And that is, I didn't go into that, but if that continues as well, there is the danger of an aneurysm. That's where the cells begin to weaken in an area, and that begins to get thin out and thin out and thin out. And unless the minerals are put in, that could burst. And then, of course, the minerals are terribly important to keep the new cells of the wall of the artery healthy and replaced. And the fats, of course, are terribly important for the blood vessels. So that's all those things that happen. Now, again, when we go back, all we have to do is just realise that we only need to look after our body, basic needs for looking after our body. And I'll repeat again, we will go back, we'll become aware. First thing person starts doing is drinking the water. Just don't overdrink every day. Just start to drink, maybe work up. A man could work up to 6 or 8 pints of water easily a day. Not tea, not coffee, nothing diluted, just water. And just water. And again, always good to put, I always say that put sea salt into your diet, because the sea salt will help the water to soak into the cells and not just flow through where a person will be peeing all the time. But over time, the body and the cells will begin to soak up the water into the cells, and that alone will make a huge, huge difference. Now, again, I talk about science coming along, and we live in a very busy world. For people who are very busy, I say, look, you can get an omega-3, a very high-quality omega-3, and you take your fats every day. Now, this omega-3 will not only help the fat in the blood vessels, it's very important because it'll help the fat in many other areas, which I will talk about at a later date. Again, what I talk about, the minerals and vitamins, I did a video before on fulvic acid. And again, you can see the bottom of this, there are trace elements and micronutrients, and they have to be in minute details, proportions, because that has to be, when it's suspended in the body and in the blood, that goes around and it works magic. The body just absolutely loves it. Says, here I go, I can do all my repairs, keep the body healthy and prevent degenerative diseases. And as I said, our fats. Now, the thing about it is our fats, our water, our breathing, our exercise, learn and grow. And, we can go on to, I think I have it here. Oh, yes, so if somebody went to the doctor, well, naturally enough, the doctor is going to give them a pharmaceutical drug where the person is not being educated, not being made aware, and they are now just being left to just get worse, the situation to get worse. The drugs have side effects, and of course further health complications can come along down the line. So it is again, our money and our health go hand in hand. So if you're looking after your health, you certainly will save an awful lot of money, not going to the doctor and all the expense that goes with it in the pharmacies, and even therapists, going to therapists. I mean, doctor is grand and emergency therapists are great, but when you take full responsibility and start looking after your health on a daily basis, your health will begin to transform. So that's what scientists are doing. Scientists are supporting us. It's not me. I'm just bringing you the information from scientists. And when you shop online with this particular with science and health and wellness, they also will support you, and you will have access to scientists from all around the world. So all your answers and all your worries, we're not left on our own. We have a huge body of science behind us. And so educate, aware, action and benefits. At the end of the day, it's an individual choice what option people take. People can decide to ignore science and ignore how the body works and not worry about it and just continue on their way. That's fine. Go and take the pharmaceutical drugs, certainly, and stay on them and do the best you can. But if you want to take care of your health, then if you're on drugs, stay on the drugs. You must gradually build the body up. I mean, it could take maybe up to 3 months, we'll say, for example, of drinking the water and taking the minerals and the fats and everything, and then gradually then go back and have your blood pressure taken and just be aware. Tell your doctor that you're working with scientists and working with nutrients and everything else, and go back to your doctor and have your blood pressure regulated until eventually your doctor will be happy with what you're doing and say, oh, your blood pressure is normal. And then you can say, well, maybe I'm working with scientists, maybe I'd like to have my blood pressure tablets reduced. And then your doctor can reduce it. If he listened to you at all, your doctor really should be working with you, because after all, it's your health. And then the doctor will reduce it and then monitor it again and then reduce it again until such a time as you've worked yourself into a nice, healthy, everyday, treatment, looking after yourself. You know how to look after yourself. Once you learn, you really only need to learn once, because once you learn how to take care of your health, you don't have to learn 150 different times. And you won't have to go back and learn another way and another way, and a new promise and a new this and a new that. It's all very basic care. And that basic care will never change. It never changed since the day man was created. We were created to work with nature, and that will continue. And of course, if anybody wants any information or any knowledge or any support, I'm here, and I will willingly and with great joy share and help and support you in any way I can.